Yes, welcome to KP session, and this session is based on the movie 1987. Oh, and initially this is for the only for Korean students. However, because there are many foreign students in here, so I will say in English. And even though my English speaking is very bad, please hope you're understanding. And let me briefly talk about the background of the movie. Yes, at that time, state was dominated by the military. The anti-communism was still the main goal of the John Doo-hwan, and he used this anti-communism as the reason to control the society. He always arrest people or punish them in the name of the anti-communism. He say, "Oh, you are the communist. You should die, and you should be in the prison like this." So it was not really democratic, and citizens always demand the direct election, which means one person have a one vote. However, still indirect way was applied, and it was very easy to make a collusion for the John Doo-hwan. And also, term was changed from 5 to 7 years. And to do this, John Doo-hwan changed the constitutional law. And there was 1988 Olympic was planned in Korea, and it is only the 1 year left at this time period. And so John Doo-hwan really cared about the stable image of the Olympic. So because this Olympic was the first Olympic which the communist state and the democratic state participate together. So because the attention was very high, so he was very cared about it. And because John Doo-hwan was the authoritarian leader, he always controlled the media. Because he always keep the media from telling the 100% truth, and he always say, "Oh, give it to me first, and I will read, and I will modify it like this." And there was 3S policy. Yes, because Park Chung-hee was dead because of his authoritarian policy, and John Doo-hwan feel like a danger because, "Oh, I will be assassinated because of the people's discontent." So he emphasized these three things: sex, screen, and sports. He made these three in the entertainment, and he blurred the citizens' eager for the democracy. And there was also three low environment: the low exchange rate, low oil price, and low interest rate. Because these three were very low, it was very good for people to live. And in 1980 there was a Guangzhou incident. It was a public protest toward the democratization when the John Doo-hwan made the military coup. And the mass killing of the citizen was done by the John's command at here. However, the truth was unveiled after the decades. At that time, John Doo-hwan say, "Oh, they are the North spy," like this. And I will talk this more specifically at the next slide. Let me get into the movie. And the start of the incident was the death of the student. His name was Park Jong-chul, and it is his picture. And due to the arrest and protest, he was arrested, and he was died during the torture. Because the water torture, he can't breathe. But police avoided their responsibility, and they just say like this: "When I tap the desk, he say and died." This means they say the reason of his death is just the heart attack of his nerves. Yes, and the anti-communism department blocked the autopsy to block the real reason of his death. Many operations from ACD to block the truth was done to the doctor, detective, reporter, and prison officer. Yes, however, the truth started to be uncovered by the doctor, detective, reporter, and prison officer because these four people didn't give up even though the pressure was given to them. Yes, and detective made the autopsy to be implemented, and reporters uncovered the truth in spite of the pressure. They say that Park Jong-chul died because of the torture, not from his nervous and heart attack. And doctor also uncovered the truth of the death. He was at first time pressured by the government, and he say also like this. When I tap the desk, he say, "Oh, and it was the heart attack." However, he finally tell the truth to the other people. And prison officers secure the record and render it to the outside and make it uncovered. And these uncover the truth, fuels the public's anger and eager for democracy. Yes, and because there was another protest by this anger, the John Duan felt, oh, it is somewhat dangerous. So he declared the martial law. Yes, but it is not the end of the story. Yes, even though the martial law was done, the the yes the anger of the citizen become more strong. Yes, many students started the protest because Park Chung-chul was also a student. They built something like a common sense. Yes, and one more student that the Lee Han-yeol, he's the student of Yonsei University, and this picture impressed others. This is the Lee Han-yeol, and he died because of the and this become very issue because Park Jong-chul was student and he was also a student, and their school was very yes a popular school, the Seoul National University and Yonsei University. They are very top tier school. So and this fuels not only the students and but also the public. First, it was started from the students. However, it became like the expansion, yes, to the businessman group and the Myeongdong Cathedral. And businessman group, they after they get to work and when they go to home, they turn on the light of the car or they put the klaxon, and they mean this as a protest. And Myeongdong Cathedral is very meaningful because it is the original of our Korea's Catholic, and when the protest group run away from the police, they get into here, and because it is a very symbolic place at the start of the Catholic, the police avoid to get in there because it may be controversial, because it may be seen as the challenge for the Catholic power. So this Myeongdong Cathedral protect the citizens, and because the protest become very strong and strong and strong, it doesn't seem to get weaker. The John Duan finally resigned, and direct election started, and 5-year term of the president started, and these two are still now in Korea. So we can say this June protest is very meaningful. And what's the difference of the June protest when compared to other protests? Yes, and so I want to compare it with the Guangzhou incident. Yes, as I say at the previous slide, the Gwangju incident was a protest toward the John Duan's authoritarian rule and military coup. And at that time, the John Duan was very have a knowledge how to control the media. So reporters just follow the John Duan's rule. And John Duan say it is the act of the North spy. And he say people to make a military coup. And there was a military coup in the Gwangju, and we sent our military to fight with them. This is what John Duan say. However, it has nothing to do with the North spy, and it was just our citizens who want democracy. And however, this truth was uncovered after the decade, and only the foreign reporters finally uncovered the truth. And these two are the movie of the Gwangju incident, and this is the taxi driver, and Korean name is taxi 운전사, and this is the story of this foreign reporter, and this is a beautiful vacation, and I don't know the exact name in English. And this is also the story of the Gwangju incident of the citizens. And these two are very good movie, and I recommend. And the second difference is the relatively non-violence. Yes, of course, when the protest is done, the violence is inevitable. However, the June protest was very relatively non-violent. Because it was non-violent, many people died and many people got hurt. However, this is very meaningful. Because Gwangju incident was violence. The citizen put the gun and they fired it to the military. That's the reason why the many people died at here, because the combat was done at there between the citizen and the military. Yes, you can see it at the movie. There are two characters to focus on. The first one is the boy, him, and he is Korean actor named Kang Dong-won, and he's very handsome. And at the story, he fight for the authoritarian government very actively, and he affect the girl to fight with him. And the most important is this girl. Her name is Kim Tae-ri, and she is also very popular and very pretty. At first, she was just a usual student who loved music. Yes, just a usual student. She doesn't understand the protest. Yeah, she say, "Oh, I don't understand why they do the protest. They are very foolish. I don't know what's the problem of this society like this." Because there was as I mentioned, 3S policy and 3 law environment at there. It was not very harsh environment for people to live. Yes, unless they do the protest or they want democracy. It was very good to live. And also, John Duan carried the 1980 Olympic for the clean society. He turns in the street, so the street was very clean. So she doesn't care about the democracy. However, she got the knowledge about the Gwangju incident at the 1980, and she became very scared of the authoritarian government and policy. At this time, she was just afraid and she doesn't be very active. However, her relative was arrested due to the opening the truth of the Park Jong-chul, and she got a change because of the police. Her beat become like this, and this boy give the shoes like this, and you can say it's very romantic. However, this have some other meanings, because you can see that shoes is of his boys, and they are same style, same brand, and same look. And this means that this girl started to fight with the boy for the democracy. And at the movie, she really followed the man and became very active at the democracy protest. The, in short, I think this girl is the symbol of the original, symbol of the usual people. We always very got scared of the fight and just want our life to be very secure. However, because of this one people, and one people, we got affected, we can become very active. Yes, and I think this is the meaningful point of the June protest of democracy, because it was not done by the only one person on one group. These usual people and these usual people, and the detective, doctor, reporter, and Catholic, these all part of the society gather, and they make the democracy come true. Yes, and this is end of the TA session, and I think you got very trouble in understanding my English, so I'm very sorry about that. And I want to recommend two more movie, and this one is zombie movie, and this one is comic movie. And yeah, you can see this boy, and this boy is the main character of these two movie, and it's very funny, so I recommend it. Okay, thank you for listening, and good luck for your midterm paper. Thank you.